What's up everyone, my name is Anthony and in this video I'm going to do some analysis on SPY and QQQ and then talk about what the price projections are over the next couple of weeks or so. So we've gotten some really critical price action today. We've fallen beneath the bearish signal indicators on both of the indexes. So now we know exactly pretty much what they should do in terms of this larger scale correction. So just to be clear, this signals the drop today. So SPY fell 1.67% and the Qs fell around 2%. So this signals that we are in this broader scale sell-off. And what this structure is appearing to take on is a WXY, so a complex correction. So the good news about this structure is that we should get a slight push to the upside, a recovery push for this X wave, and that would be a really good entry for puts to target the last, I shouldn't say the last, but another leg of downside. So just to look at it a little bit right here. So we topped out on the indexes right here for this wave 5 of 5 of 5, a bunch of nested wave 5s. And the last one you see here is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 upwards. And then we worked on a very choppy move downwards, so forming a bunch of overlapping WXY patterns. So WXY, this whole thing formed a WXY, and the same thing, this is a WXY. And it looks like we bottomed out here right around 428.87, and we had a really strong push to the upside towards the end. But I want to mention that this is not an impulsive push. This is just an attempt at recovering some of the downside, and this is known as your failed impulsive wave. And so I've already taken the retracement levels of this entire W move downwards. And the thing with X waves is that they typically tend to find the most resistance and reject anywhere from the 0.5 to 0.618 retracement zones, although they can reject at the 0.382. So I would expect the first level of resistance to be right around 438, but SPY could end up pushing to 441 before collapsing again for another Y wave. So this would be a Y wave, and this would pretty much take on an ABC correction. Over here, we had a WXY to the downside. That just means it's a little bit more choppy and didn't happen as fast immediately. So this W wave was really kind of slow and choppy. Buyers tried to cling on to whatever upside they can get, but it gradually took the indexes down. But now once buyers start to realize that we're coming down for another leg of downside, then I think this will take on a more impulsive downwards move. So that would bring a pretty swift drop to the indexes, and that could take it all the way down to 400 on SPY. So just in terms of taking some Fibonacci extension levels, I've already done some here. So let's say that we top out for this X wave right around, let's say 441. So let me take the extensions right here. So we would first target the 1-to-1 extension of this W wave for the downside targets, and that would be right around 416. But I think that the indexes could potentially go lower than this. I'm targeting this first retracement level right around 400. Although I might not hold puts all the way to there, I will at least target this 1-to-1 extension zone. So there is still a significant amount of downside left to the indexes as part of this broader scale sell-off. But as long as you get good entry into puts around these levels, which I am planning on doing that either tomorrow or whenever we do come up to these levels. So just to emphasize that we are coming up for an X wave. And once you do, as long as you enter puts somewhere within this rectangle, I think that's a really strong risk to reward on the trade. And you can have a lot of potential at getting some profit from some downside from this move, this Y leg downwards. And this is just to mention, if this correction wants to extend further, it totally can. So this can turn into a W, potentially an X, and then a Y. It can do something like that. So, but as long as you target this Y leg downwards, which should take on an ABC correction, that will bring some hefty downside to the indexes, and that's what I'm looking for right now. So, in terms of the correction, because we've been pretty much tracking the S&P 500 detail for detail through the wave count, now we can officially say that we are in a broader scale sell-off. This is not some just quick drop and that we're going to push right back all up to new all-time highs and start impulsively moving upwards. No, this is the top for now, and we are coming down for a WXY to the downside. So looking bearish on the indexes, and we've gapped down heavily this morning, started to head downwards, and then we had a recovery push, and that looks like it's part of the X wave so far. So the indexes are looking bearish, and I will be targeting them with puts and signaling those in the Discord as well. So same thing exactly for the triple Q. So this is the tech sector. Exact same scenario. We topped out here for this wave 5 of 5, a bunch of nested wave 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this capped the top of that COVID rally since the COVID drop. And then we have a WXY to the downside, and this would form your typical W, and then an X somewhere here, and then a Y to the downside. So exact same thing as the S&P 500, and expecting probably to enter some puts somewhere around the retracement levels. So if we take some of those, you could enter once again right around some of these levels. So the 0.382 to 0.618, and I do think that those will be good entry levels. So 369 to 374 looks like a good risk to reward for those puts to me. So just to diagram that out, we could expect a three-legged move upwards for the X wave, and then a three-legged move downwards for that ABC correction to the downside, and that would form your W here, and then your X, and then your Y to the downside, with this Y forming an ABC. So that's pretty much what we're looking for in the indexes for now. And just in terms of looking at the VIX, so I do have a lot of new trend lines here as we push upwards into territory that I haven't been for in a while. So these are just trend lines connecting the tops of VIX. And when we did gap up above this trend line here, and that signaled that VIX was heading further up, which meant that indexes were going down more. But now I expect with the X wave to the upside here, this failed recovery push that we should have, the VIX will start to cool off a little bit, maybe kind of hover around this trend line, maybe come down here. And then when we move to that next leg of downside, we should have another spike in the VIX to try to retest some of these trend lines over here. So VIX looks like temporarily it may cool down just a bit, and then it will head back up. So now just finally, we'll talk about Moderna a little bit. So we did get some downside to Moderna today. It's down around 1.56%, not down too much, but it looks like it's still setting up for more downside. So we kind of have like a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that it's currently working on. And this just over the broader term is forming an ABC correction. So the stock is still looking bearish. It's a little bit choppier than I would expect, but overall it's still heading downwards. It still has that general sell-off trend. When the indexes start to fall, then things will of course tend to follow as well. And it looks like every stock kind of needs to have that sell-off now. And with the indexes clearly signaling that with a bearish indicator and falling above these critical wave theory threshold levels, then we know what exactly is going on now. So we know that we're in correction territory. Any puts entered now, I think, will be profitable a month from now, or maybe even less than that, maybe a couple weeks out, because the indexes will probably be lower than they are right now. So that's going to be just a quick update video for today. Just wanted to mention that everything is looking bearish, and we got some confirmation today, and just kind of detailing exactly what structure we should expect this correction to get. So thank you so much for watching, and of course, I'll post any updates and signals in the Discord when, especially tomorrow, seeing what happens with price action. And so I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.